And hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Hairyman, Hoaxes and Hoodwinks. I am so ecstatic for tonight. Right as soon as I throw up, I'll be okay. Seriously, it'll all be good. But joking aside, man, love seeing you guys here. Look at that chat. Good Lord, you're all here. All my lovelies. Love to see you. So glad you're here. Brian, Paradox, Donald, Brian, former Sandra, Val, Jen, all of you. Donald, is Donald here? Is Donald here? Did anybody? Yeah, he's here for sure. Okay, just making sure we don't want to miss Donald. Grasshopper, Sharon, Joe, there's Western New York Bigfoot. I know Pine Island is in the house. Oh, there's my sister. Hello, Angel. Gotcha, Uncle Bones, all of you. I could go on, but let's get to the good stuff. Are we ready for the good stuff? And then we'll talk some more. Yeah. So let's do this. Okay.
In 2008 wound up as a hoax, as y'all all know, with the Bigfoot in the freezer. But it didn't start off as a hoax. And I'm going to tell you the real story right now. We were walking through the woods in Fall Creek Falls, Tennessee, and we saw a carcass laying beside a river, a stream. It looked like a Bigfoot. We didn't drag it out of the woods. We just left it there. And when we planned a video on YouTube, absolutely blow your mind. And we showed a freezer and we showed a tarp and we showed everything. There was never no Bigfoot in the freezer. There was never nothing. Steve Kulls actually introduced myself and Matt to Tom Biscardi. Tom Biscardi says is, guys, I know the Bigfoot isn't real, but we can make a ton of money. Now, I am not here to bash on anyone. Making a Bigfoot body is crazy, because what I did was I found the best suit out there. Bring you 50 large. Steve Kulls was 100% involved because every contract, everything came from Steve Kulls.
Did you have thoughts of going back on all that, on just trying to get out of it?
Oh, no.
You were in 100%.
No, man. I was in, Nikki. I was in. And then the phone rang. And he said it was Steve Kulls on the phone. And they were arguing about money. The first thing he said to us was, I can make you a lot of money. I know it's not real.
Well, what were the consequences? Were there any consequences after the whole thing came out?
No, there was zero.
It just washed.
They tried to get us in trouble with the Clayton County police, and the Clayton County detectives were laughing because they said, look, here it's 100% that every one of y'all was involved. I am a man, and I will take responsibility for the crap I done. I made a total of about $70,000 or $80,000 in 2008. Fuck the Bigfoot community. I don't give a shit. It's over with. My run in Bigfoot is absolutely over with. No one had no idea how big the tour was going to be when we were stuffing money in a bus cabinet and it wouldn't fit. The tour made probably $500,000. You have no idea. I would do it again. And they tell us, we know it's bullshit, but we have to come and see. A 911 call from a homeless girl. And in this phone call, it said that there was basically Bigfoot dragging a deer carcass across the street. The tent video is absolutely 100% a real Bigfoot. When that tent video was 1,000% a Bigfoot. And what he was doing is he was eating the ribs there.
That stirred on a mass amount of people looking for that mask online.
With me and the Bigfoot and Morgan Matthews there is absolutely real. And when the Bigfoot attacked Morgan Matthews, and I was off chasing the other Bigfoot, which I did not find, I shot him. Now, when we came back, Morgan Matthews' face was bloody. Something happened. Maybe the camera hit him. Something happened. Mm-hmm. And I also pushed him down when we were fighting over the gun because I was shooting and he was trying to grab the gun. The first time I've ever told the absolute truth when it came to what exactly happened with Morgan Matthews, because for a long time there was money on the line. The government knew something happened and they did pay myself and my wife a visit. I found a guy in Spokane, Washington, and I paid him $5,000, I believe, $5,000 to make a Bigfoot body. I did a lot of charity work. We raised probably $30,000 or $40,000 in San Antonio with Armando Motologo.
So what was your estimated take home for that whole entire thing, that whole 2012?
Over $500,000. I sold that for $10,000 after it was all said and done to Mr. Nice Guy's Wellness Center, a marijuana place in Denver, Colorado.
I've got Mr. Steve Kulls wanting to come on the show.
Sure, I think it's a great idea. Now this is going to be the best show ever.
So what's going on? This is very interesting to see. Rick, hello, Rick.
Hey, what's up, man? Well, evidently, this is going to be a little hostile because I can tell that you're on the defense.
No, I'm not on the defense. I'm going to go on the offense very soon, sir. Lying about me?
Truth.
No, lying about me.
There is no lie. We did not know
Listen,
about...
Listen, son.
No. We did not know about
nothing.
Tom Biscardi until you, Steve Cuz, introduced us to Tom Biscardi.
Okay, so stop right there. Stop right there.
I did not.
Don't lie, Rick. Don't lie. You did. You did.
We didn't know no one, Steve. We knew
because you know why, son?
In the Bigfoot community.
Yeah. Do you know why, son? Because Biscardi called me first. He called me first and told me that you had called him. The fact is this man here is a con artist. Okay. He has been sued for $200,000 on a default judgment for ripping off his investment over an auto business sale. The man right now is running. Okay. Running. You have running. Okay. Because you would have sent me up to the Hollywood sign and left me out there when you were nowhere in town.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And that's what caused the bad blood. Now I can forgive that. I can forgive that because I'm a little smarter than that, and you know that. You made a challenge to say, I challenge so and so to come out here.
I challenge so and so to come out to California and see the baby Bigfoot that eats hamburgers. Right? A lot of people, and a lot of people was vicious, and
you were too.
Yeah, true.
You were too.
True. But this is the best show. Hey, no one has ever got myself and Steve Kulls on live together. No one.
Except me.
I am not coming back to Bigfoot in any way, shape, or form.
There you go. So that's the mad sweep from last year. Do you guys remember? You remember? Everybody? So that's what happened last year. And now here we are 1 year later to finish the conversation, catch up with Rick, see what's going on. And so first, we need to bring somebody else on. Everybody, welcome, Steve Kulls.
Pushing daisies from my face. Trapped in this goddamn place.
Welcome, Steve. Welcome to the show.
Hey, howdy. What's up?
It's all up. We're ready to go now that we've jammed out a little bit. Good to see you.
Oh, great
I'm
seeing
always
you.
seeing you, talking with you. But how you feel about tonight?
I feel good about tonight. I think it's going to be a very great conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not going to be quite as adversarial as the previous one.
Oh,
and,
for sure.
Because we had a great talk after the show last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everything got put out there on the playing field. And I think everybody came to a pretty good understanding of where the truth lied in that whole 2008 mess, the 2012 mess.
Mm-hmm.
So, and here we are today, and, like I said, Rick, has a TikTok channel, been putting out a lot of videos on espousing opinion, and he's definitely entitled to his opinions. That's nothing wrong with that.
Right. So. Exactly. So let's bring on the next guest. Here we go. Mr. Rick Dyer, the best Bigfoot hunter in the house. Welcome.
Hey, y'all. What's going on?
Good. We're doing good. Good to see
that,
you.
That's a heavily edited intro.
Yes, it is. Heavily
edited intro. I just want to I'll let you know that.
It is. But you guys have to go back to my show and watch the whole thing, okay? Because that is not it. That was live. So you all saw it the way it happened last year. But I'm a bigger channel now, and people were a little bit confused at me having you on again and what happened last year. So go, if you want to see all that conversation, you need to go back and do that, because we're going to we are going to answer some questions from that time, from the 2008 and 12 that people feel they didn't get answered. But we're kind of here to focus on what happened in this last year with Rick, and how he's doing now, and things that have come up. So that is where we're going with that. We decided to come back to Hairyman, Hoaxes, and Hoodwinks. The show, actually, I wanted to explain a little bit about that, how it came to be.
You, Steve.
What's that?
I said that's going to kill you, man.
I know.
Yeah, he knows. It came about from Jeff from Pine Island Research, got in touch with Rick, and Rick agreed to come on his show. But after discussing things, we're more open in my platform over here. More people probably would have seen the show from Pine Island side, but we're open to talk and say whatever we want on my channel, and that's how it came to be. So I'm glad you're okay. You scared me a little bit there, Rick, this weekend.
God.
So glad to see you're looking good now, talking good, because you didn't sound very good the first time you you voice text me.
I I was in the hospital on some very serious things. It's the first time I've ever been in the hospital, and it really opened my eyes on a lot of things. It it it, uh, it really changed the way I'm thinking and stuff. But you know me, I'm Rick Dyer. I still gotta have my persona, and I still gotta be me. But I wanted to make an opening statement. It's not.
Yeah.
It's all in my head. It's not on paper. If you would allow me to make that.
Absolutely, go for it.
Um, you know, I tend, believe it or not, to want to please people, to want to let people hear what they want to hear. And after the show last year, or whenever it was, I can't remember.
It was like
yeah, but after the show, like we had a talk, and Steve was there, and another guy was there, and you was there, and I never felt wanted or liked in the Bigfoot community, but that point in time when we were all four together, I really felt everything was calm. And me and Steve was talking, me and you were talking, me and that other guy was talking, and everything felt good. And I did say some things, and I said that the 2008 or it was 2012 was a hoax, and I said that the 2008 was a hoax. I did say that, but the truth of the matter is that I'm not going to say these things to people anymore. I'm not going to try to please people, and there was hoaxes. I did two hoaxes. One was 08 and one was 2012. I did that. I take the blame for that. I absolutely did it. There 100%. I am at fault. No one else but me. I am at fault.
Mm-hmm.
I take that. But I will tell you, in 08 and in 2012, there was a real Bigfoot. There really was. And I know for a fact, Steve Kulls will never, ever believe me. You or anyone else in the Bigfoot will never believe me. That's A-okay. Because I'm throwing that in the past. And I'm working on something new to get one again. And when I do, there will be no, or if I do, there will be no things leading up to it. And I will call the media as soon as I do. I am the greatest Bigfoot tracker in the world. I know that. Laugh, that's okay. I know that. I am the greatest Bigfoot tracker in the world. And I will talk about how I hoaxed and the way I hoaxed and why I hoaxed all day long, because I believe that the Bigfoot community needs to hear that. And y'all are already on one side, and that side is that I never had a Bigfoot. That side is I never seen a Bigfoot. That side is I am just a hoaxer. But y'all haven't seen what I seen. Y'all haven't felt what I felt. Y'all haven't touched what I touched. And there's nothing that I can do to prove that to you. There's nothing. In fact, I don't even want to prove that to you. But when I do it again, there's not going to be no lead up there, because that's the biggest thing to a hoax. They release a photo, and they release a story, and they release the lead up. It's just not going to happen this time. I'm going to do the right thing, and if I have to call Steve Kulls, if I have to fly Steve Kulls to wherever it's at, then I will immediately. But I am a hoaxer, okay? But I did see, I have seen the real thing. And that's my opening statement. So Steve can attack me starting right now.
I'm not attacking you, Rick. I have always had this longstanding question, and this came to me actually rather recently. The one question I always wanted to ask you was, I'm beginning to think that when you started this in 2008, that what you were doing was parody. And you ran with it because the Bigfoot community took you seriously. Is that accurate, or am I wrong about that? That's the question I have.
Well, I will tell you that as soon as the body was taken away from us, which that's the part that you think is bullshit, but that's okay. As soon as the body was taken away from us, I did think that, okay? I did see how gullible people were. And I knew what I had, and I knew it was taken, and I felt in my mind that I wanted a piece of that. And that is when I started doing the hoax in 2008. And let me tell you something, because it will come up later, okay? Steve Kulls' involvement. After we talked again, after the show, and we talked about his involvement and stuff, and I see where he's coming from now. And when I was back there with Tom Biscardi, and I seen the thing, like if Steve Kulls knew about it, why wouldn't he let me talk open to Steve Kulls, right? He always had to. Now, as far as I knew, and as far as he told me, Steve Kulls did write all the contracts, the initial contracts, and stuff like that. Steve Kulls did do that. But after those contracts was written, he really wanted us to keep away from Steve Kulls. The only thing that played in my mind about this, and the only reason that I thought that Steve Kulls was involved, putting aside the contracts that he wrote at the first, the only thing is, why would Tom have him at the site where it was going to be unfrozen. That is what I didn't understand until recently. And now I thought that they were arguing about money. Okay, that wasn't the case. Okay, now I know they were arguing about, because what I feel that happened is I believe that Steve Kulls went there, and he did go there on his own dime. And I believe the only reason Tom and the crew let him in was because after it was all unfrozen and everybody knew about it, Tom Biscardi thought that they would just keep it going because they was too deep in it. And Steve Kulls said no, he's not going to do it. And then that's when all hell broke loose. That's when Tom turned on us. That's when everybody turned, and everything happened in 2008. And that's a fact.
Let me just do a little add-on to that, Rick. Whoops, sorry. Hot mic there. I'm trying to level this out. There we go. Is that any better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Cool. It turns out that we found out in the after conversation that the contracts that Rick and Matt Whitten had signed actually were not the ones I had written at all. They were written by Dennis Kazabuski, who was Biscardi's attorney. So those contracts that Biscardi called me at like 6 a.m. saying, listen, I got nobody on the West Coast to write these up. So I wrote them up for him and emailed them. They were never signed by Rick or Matt. That didn't come until later when Dennis did the official, and there was a lot more added. There was a little legalese added to the addendums, and we had seen all those. So let's put that in perspective. The only time I ever argued with Biscardi was trying to get Bill Lett's money back. The $50,000. That was the 50 large, as Biscardi had said. The crew itself never knew the creature was phony. I remember talking to them. They picked it up on a Thursday evening. The night before I flew, I was flying out to Indianapolis. And they had turned around and told me, oh, it's still frozen. Well, it was supposed to have been thawed. And that was flag number 1 for me. And Biscardi did not want me there. He didn't pay me to go there. I went there on my own dime. Did not want me there for obvious reasons. And during the press conference was the release of the DNA, which Biscardi earlier in the week had sent emails being false DNAs. And in case people don't know who Biscardi is,
kudos and salutations.
So I didn't get to hear the press conference. I land and everybody's on edge. And that night we were listening to Coast, me and actually Tom's son, TJ, who was a pretty stand-up guy at the time. And we heard the costume maker saying, that's my costume, but it's been altered. And he looked at it, and we both looked at each other like, oh, crap. So the next morning, he gets me up at like 4:45. He's like, come on, let's go see if it's real. So we bang away, and finally he pulls out a hair and he hands it to me and goes, let's see if it's real. And obviously it wasn't real. We saw it was tubular. We ended up burning it, and it crawled up into a little ball, meaning it was plastic. It didn't burn like hair. So we knew this whole thing was fake. And Biscardi's whole idea was to get everybody to sign NDAs and not talk about it and say that, the guys got too nervous and took their body back to Georgia. But in the meantime, he was having this Fox crew fly out. They were the same guys that did the alien autopsy hoax, or the alien autopsy on Fox. So then, there was a period after the hoax broke that Rick and I weren't talking to each other. Rick was saying, oh, Steve must be involved. Yeah. And we talked, it was right around Christmas. And I remember we did a quid pro quo question of one another. And yes, Rick did say, Tom called me up and said, hey, I know what you got isn't real, but there's a way we can all make money out of this. So that, to me, rung very true of how Biscardi talks. The other interesting thing is, I said, well, what was the end game of this? He goes, I don't know. He was going to fly some people out to do this like Bigfoot autopsy. So he, believe it or not, put in the missing puzzle pieces to what Biscardi was telling me on one side. And everything kind of fit like a glove. That was what was going to happen. This was going to be the Bigfoot autopsy, and it was going to be put out on video, run by, the people who did the alien autopsy video. And that's how Biscardi was planning on making all his money and bringing it back. So in February of 2009, I went down to Georgia with Rick, and Rick got me the freezer receipt. We went to the store. He said, this is the freezer. We looked at the floor model. We went down. He got the receipt from the girl, handed it right over to me. And that, knowing the timeline of Biscardi's flights out to Georgia, I knew there was no way Biscardi had seen this thing just frozen over like he was claiming. He was the one that went on the network and said, oh, I touched it, felt it, smelled it. And as it turned out, he was just as deep involved in this as Rick and Matt were at the time. So to me, that was the final straw. So I don't know what. So there we go. I don't know if that's any better, if it's lowering me down. I'm not actually.
You're just a little hot. Your mic is a little hot tonight.
All right, let's try that. I can try one other little.
There, wait. Whatever you
did there. Good to me.
Okay, yeah. There we go.
It's not. So now that, okay, we know that's happened. Now that you two have gotten together and discussed what happened through those discussions, because Tom's talking to Rick and Tom's talking to, to you, Steve, different, he's just trying to make, he's trying to make this thing happen. And it just wasn't going to happen, because even you, Rick, had said that at some point Biscardi had come in and said, it's all over, boys, so he was going to try, I think, to the very end to make something happen with that, especially since he had already been caught prior, what was that, 2005, Steve, with Biscardi, and his first hoax, his first
Stagecoach Nevada, 2005. Went on Coast to Coast AM claiming that this woman had a Bigfoot captured, wounded, whatever it was, and that we had scientists looking at it right now, and we plan on. And of course, he had established this webcam system for live viewing and a membership to pay for this live viewing. And as it turned out, he saw a spike in these webcam sales because he said he was going to put the webcams on the creature, and then that fell apart really fast. And of course, as always, like 2008, he claimed in 2005, oh, I was the victim of a hoax. So,
right. So my next line of questioning was going to be a little bit later, but since we're already there, was to talk about that after show that we had after the main show last year. And it went just as long as the real show, talking in the back. And so you're telling us that, you just told us what we wanted to hear and what we wanted,
I sure did. I told you what you wanted to hear. I was going through a lot at that time. I was being sued for $200,000. But no one was on the run, Steve. Fucker.
They couldn't serve your thing.
Of course they couldn't serve me, but I was served. But trust me, I was served, and this was going on for 2 years. And I know I don't have to explain this, but I'm going to.
Rick, that's not necessary to explain.
Hold on a second. I've got to. This was going on for 2 years. I made bad calls. I opened car lots all over the country. and I wasn't the greatest person in hiring people. When the car lot exploded, I freaking hired everybody and made them a partner. And I thought making them a partner would give them that to be honest, and that didn't happen. So we had one person sue us, and this person was relentless. And we finally settled for 200, and now the case is closed. You can look that up, Steve. and now I have rebuilt. I have my own car lot again, all in my name, and I am building again. And that's why I don't have to lie about anything that I say, because this is a hobby to me now. Like I will eventually get another Bigfoot, but when I do, it's going to be different. The media and Kulls will be called immediately, because I know.
So
Steve says, I'm not going to hold my breath.
You're not going to send me to the you're not going to send me up to the Hollywood sign again, are you?
I am not going to send you up to the Hollywood sign again. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But you got a free trip though, and it was pretty funny.
It was. Well, the way it was played off. I was like, well, I had a good trip anyway, and yeah, here you are, and the funny thing is, he gets me out to see the hamburger eating baby Bigfoot, and there I am with my friends eating an In-N-Out burger.
Oh my God, I miss In-N-Out burger so much. Oh my God.
So just to explain to the people out in the chat and who are viewing, after the after show, which means after we have a show, we go to the backstage, and it's not live, it's not recorded, it's just us shooting the shit, great show, blah blah blah. And during that show, Rick had told us that not only was the 2008 Bigfoot not real, okay, there was nothing there, and they just made that all up, but he also stated that the tent video was not real, and that the Bigfoot was actually a guy, an actor he had hired from Lords of the Rings, and that he
now don't that sound like bullshit? Come on now.
Actually,
that guy
actually,
so much because he was always complaining about how hot it was in the suit, and man, how he hated that guy. That, yeah, maybe it does, but you did, in fact, you said
yes, I did. Yes.
And Rick, and the reason why I'm having a hard time tonight telling us and telling this audience that was all baloney was because I know your propensity when you get in front of the crowd to be who you are. I know the Rick Dyer that's in front of the camera, and I know the Rick Dyer that's behind the camera. Okay, and I know the Rick Dyer behind the camera is usually the one who speaks the truth the most.
Well, Steve, you have the right to psychoanalyze our conversations on camera and off camera. It is what it is, but the 2012 and 2008, there was actually a real Bigfoot. It started off that way. It did not end up that way. And I know that you don't believe, and I'm not asking you to believe. That's the thing. Y'all all cannot believe, and that is A-okay. But y'all will be forced to believe when I do bring in another one.
That we will see. We will definitely see, because there was all kinds of questions. There was questions with the whole Morgan Matthews getting attacked, and with all that mess, and how at the end of our conversation, I had said, so the whole thing, Rick, is just a made up mess. And you agreed. It was just, it was just to get out there and to make money. Your end game was to see what you could turn out, right?
After, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After the real stuff that has happened, absolutely. 100%.
Oh, okay. So I can't go too much deeper into that side other than I felt like when you were explaining the tent video, you had me at that moment, believing you that you were actually telling me the truth at that point, about it not being
Nick, Nick.
So
like
I got
respect
sucker.
you. Look. I respect you, and I respect Steve. But I don't care who believes me and who doesn't. They don't pay my bills, and they don't do anything for me. This is, you can believe it, or you cannot, and then we shake hands and go our opposite ways. But what I am telling you now is there will be another one. I'm telling you right now.
Brace yourselves, everyone.
There will be another one. 100%.
Yeah.
And this time,
so
if God will let me find another one, there will be another one.
So Rick, what's your tactical plan?
My tactical plan is to track down one using my techniques and kill them.
Well, what's your techniques? How many Bigfoot reports have you gotten in like the last month?
I have gotten none because I don't investigate that.
Okay, so how do you plan on finding one? Just jumping into the woods and looking around when you're talking about a species that's maybe 5,000 nationwide?
I have a special skill of tracking Bigfoot, and I can go into the woods and I can feel if a Bigfoot is there.
Well, we saw your wood skills in shooting Bigfoot.
Look, the ribs in a tree. Well, if you analyze that, okay, let's go back to the shooting Bigfoot. Bigfoot hunters tried to find those people that were in the woods to interview them. They tried to. Who found them? I found them. Who interviewed them? We interviewed them. Who stayed in the woods with the homeless people? I did. Who bought the ribs? Who hung it on the tree? The deer urine. I can make them come to me.
So my question to you is, how much did you pay those homeless people?
Didn't pay them a damn thing. At that time, I was broke, man. And at that time, I was living in Vegas, and they flew me out to San Antonio. See, shooting Bigfoot
but the vehicle you used was your own. It was all decked out.
No, see, that's what you don't understand. If you look at shooting Bigfoot, that was filmed in a 3-year period. It started in 2009, and that's why you will see me with a blonde-haired assistant in 2010.
Shades of Todd standing there, by the way.
You will see me in a wrapped Chevy Suburban, but you will also see me in Vegas in a wrapped Lincoln Navigator. Those were years apart. So Morgan Matthew filmed with us since 2009, all the way up to 2012. Or
he had to swing by and visit Biscardi and give us the famous Snapple comment.
But look, I'm not here begging anyone to believe me. I'm just saying, hey, stay tuned. And the next go around, I will leave nothing out. And now so much technology is here. As soon as it happens, I can go live. As soon as anything happens, I can go live. I can call the media immediately. Like there's not going to be a lead up, and there's not going to be anything like that. If God lets me find this beast, and when I do, Steve, you will be wearing a Team Tracker hat.
I know.
Oh my God.
I gotta say I would not bet the farm on it, but say la vie.
So I'm just showing some of the pictures that are out there in regards to the 2012. I also have the 2008 pictures, but this is during your tour.
Yeah, the first tour made, well, the first hoax with everything involved made me personally about $70,000. The second hoax made us over $500,000, and that's been documented through Time Magazine. And Steve Kulls can check that out. And
Well, it was that, but you said
and it was
I can
about
check it
the
out
money.
through Time Magazine. Was that a quote from you to Time Magazine, or was that their own independent investigation?
It's their own independent investigation.
So
they said that. In fact,
I don't recall ever seeing that. I was pretty in tune to what was coming out in the media about that.
There is a place where you can see all of the, because they provide the links and stuff, and that's what we made. Period. Like, if you don't believe that either, then that's fine too. But after that, how did I do everything I had to do? I mean, you got to put two and two together. But that's not important. What's important is I am a hoaxer, okay, and I love being a hoaxer, and I take all the blame on being a hoaxer. That is a fact. But I am a Bigfoot believer. If you don't believe that I have seen one, if you don't believe that I shot at one.
I really don't, Rick, because in 2009, you were very clear, and even Witten was very clear that you guys didn't believe it, but listening to a person like me tends to make you believe it.
No, absolutely. But the only thing that has made us believe, or made me believe, is dragging one out of the woods, Steve.
Well,
that is the only
not
thing
what you said
that
in 2009.
But
that's not what you said in 2021.
And
it just seems like you have these private conversations.
And if the men in black will come back to me and hear me and my family have to death, then that's what I would say in 2023. That's what I say in 2024.
See, what I think is going on here, Rick, is you like playing everybody. You like playing people in the backside of things by telling them what they want, as you say, telling them what they want to hear. And then when you get in front of the crowd, you tell them another thing.
Well,
and then we'll go. If we went to an after show, if we went to an after show tonight, we would probably
there's 73 people here.
Mm-hmm.
There's 73 people here. Like what? Like I just want to be so popular in front of 73 people. Look,
well, you know, this is going to go out to more than just 73 or 74 people, because you know not everybody can be here live. So what happens is over the course of the next few weeks, people will start talking about this. It will start gaining traction.
See, no, I don't want traction. I already make enough money now. This is my hobby now. And people can choose to believe me, or they can choose to think I'm a dirty ass hoaxer. I don't care. Well, that's okay.
I'd like to ask another question. I don't know if I'll get it on, but is your TikTok monetized?
No.
Right.
Oh, and in fact, if there's some way I can do it on this screen, I will show you that it's not
okay.
Well, we know that your Bigfoot tracker has over 15,000 subscribers on it right now, but you're putting out a lot of info on your TikToks, and you've also let everybody know that you just finished something with the History Channel.
Well, y'all probably already seen it because it already aired.
The proof is out there.
Yeah. Well, that one too. But I finished something with another network too. But yeah.
What production company?
Oh, here we go. I am not. It's already filmed. Okay, so I'm gonna let that air. Because what Steve Kulls will do, here's what Steve Kulls will do.
I'm not doing nothing. Okay? I'm just asking a question for her.
I'm going to tell you what Steve Kulls will do. Okay. I give him the production company, and then he will contact the production company. Oh, he's so lying. He's bullshitting. He's blah, 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 blah. Let's see. That is the thing that I don't play into now. Like, I don't play into.
When have I ever called a production company on you, Rick? When have I ever, my stuff, I don't need to go behind anybody's back. Don't need to go behind anybody's back.
Steve.
I mean, you think I'm going to tell them something that they already haven't seen, Rick?
Steve,
you think I'm going to tell them something that I already haven't seen?
I am just saying that is the type of person you are. So just wait on it and look at it. And
I like how that I just tell them I'm not the backdoor guy when it comes to that kind of stuff, because I know there's nothing that I can tell a production company or even the network, right? Networks now, they're having shows like Expedition Bigfoot and Mountain Monsters and stuff like that. There ain't nothing I'm going to tell them that they don't know already. All right. The Megalodon, the mermaid, whatever. So it's not going to matter, Rick, even if I was to do that. The fact is that I know it's pointless to do that. My point is that you don't work for the network. You don't do, you had the network come out. No, you had a production company for a network that's coming out. And you can't even tell us the production company, which lends me to believe that,
that's how it works. And the same thing about this show that I was just on. Like, see, this isn't a competition. Okay.
It's not.
No, it's not. So just let me do my thing, and you can do your thing. Like it's no competition. Like I am not.
All I did was ask you a question, Rick.
With you.
All I did was ask you a question, which was the production company.
And it's none of your business. And if
it's none of your business, then why be on here? Why say to Nikki, there's no question I'm afraid of? Why say that?
Look, there is no question that I am afraid of. There is no question, Steve, that I'm afraid of. Just because you're talking over me don't mean you're right. If you know anything about being on TV, I was on the Discovery Channel, I was on the BBC, I was on Destination America, I was on Animal Planet. If you know anything about that, then you can't talk about what you're doing before it airs. And that's why I always said, hey, something is coming. And guess what? It has came. Everything that I said that has been coming has came. Just like the one on Animal Planet a couple of weeks ago. So this isn't a competition, Steve. This is Bigfoot.
That's a question. That's all it was, Rick. Not a competition. It was a question.
And I am answering your question.
You're not, but go ahead.
I just answered your question.
He's not going to tell us that. That's okay.
No.
Listen,
Yeah,
you guys
you
can
can't.
find
You
the proof
can't.
is out there on the History Channel. It's season 3, episode 1. It's called
You
I
can't
Killed
tell.
Bigfoot.
Not Rick don't want to tell. You can't tell. Have you ever been on the Discovery Channel?
That wasn't your first. Oh yeah. Yep. I've been on all of them.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been on that.
I wasn't talking to you, Steve. I was talking to her.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I haven't. I know you had this Discovery Channel documentary that you were working on. You mentioned it back in May. But along with that, you've also been mentioning and dropping that you have some kind of Bigfoot expedition that you have coming up.
Yes, but that's involving another production company.
Okay, so that's something else as well.
Yes.
Is that happening at the end of the year, the beginning of next year, or?
I really don't know when that is happening, but it is happening. Like with Morgan Matthews, like I started in 2009, and he came out and filmed, and he says that it was going to be on the Discovery Channel and the BBC, and I'm like, great. And then he leaves, and we don't hear from him for 6 or 7 months, and then bam, hey, we want to film again, and then that's how it happened. It's not like how people think it is when you're filming for production companies. And I have said, yes,
No,
I'm filming for the Discovery Channel, but we all know that's inside the loop, that you don't film for the Discovery Channel. You film for a production company for the Discovery Channel, a production company that the Discovery Channel has hired. So I'm not lying. It's just
okay. So a production company doesn't get necessarily hired by a network. What they do is they do a show and they sell it. Now they may have sold a treatment.
No, Steve. See, this is where I can school you on.
Okay? Oh no, you can't school me, brother.
This is where I can school you on.
Okay.
The BBC wanted.
It's amazing how you were saying the network, and now, after me bringing this out, you're bringing up all the real stuff, which is true. A production company does it to the network.
I'm having to bring up all the real stuff, because when people sees this, if I say I'm filming, like I told them I was filming for Animal Planet, and guess what? This show came out on Animal Planet a couple of weeks ago. Okay, but if I say that I'm filming for ABC Production Company, they don't know what network I'm filming for. Like you were trying to find something small and twist it around and make it look as worse as possible. I am saying, hey guys, again, I am going to be on the Discovery Channel again. And we'll what's the production? It's all bullshit. It's look at this. I am a fucking hoaxer. Yes, I'm a hoaxer. I hoaxed in 2008. I hoaxed in 2012, but I have seen the real thing.
Oh,
Bigfoot is real. And what I don't understand is how come so many of the people in the Bigfoot community don't even believe in Bigfoot itself. I have been inside and talked to people like I'm sorry, folks. I'm sick and I cannot remember names. But the guy who wears the cowboy hat in
Ken Gerhardt or the other guy?
Ken Gerhardt. I was at a convention with Ken Gerhardt. Okay, and I've seen my own eyes a person that I thought, oh my God, he's the real deal. He is this and that. I seen him with my own eyes hoax for a news crew. And that's why I say, what? Well, you can.
Yeah, you're entitled to your opinion. Where's the proof of that?
It's just facts, man. It's just plain and simple facts. I wish you called me on another day where I just didn't get out of the hospital, and I had all my thoughts together. But it is what it is. You can believe me or you can not. It don't mean anything to me. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's move on from that now. So you've got these things happening this year. You've been busy, like I said, doing stuff with Discovery Channel. The Bigfoot expedition stuff's coming. What else? Is there even more from that's happening?
There is a lot of things that's happening that I can't talk about now. But you would just have to see, and you would have to see it and come to your own conclusion. But I will say, anything that you see on TV, as far as other than a documentary, but anything that you see on a show or anything like that, take with a grain of salt, because it could show you being out in the woods, and when you're turning around, there's a big table of food behind you. So take that, like the Expedition Bigfoot and Finding Bigfoot and stuff, like take those with a grain of salt. And everybody's mad at me for hoaxing. Why don't you be mad at Matt Moneymaker for having that show that went on for years and years and years and haven't found shit? Why don't you be mad at people that say they're Bigfoot hunters and stuff and don't come up with nothing? Like be mad at them. Or if you're mad at me and you think that I hurt the Bigfoot community, nothing. I'm not stopping you from going out and finding your own evidence to prove that Bigfoot's real.
Former everything just hurt my feelings. You know what? My campaign speech would be a car in every garage and a Bigfoot in every pot. My campaign.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so if we're gonna stay on this line for a little while, the number one question that everybody kept sending me emails and asking to ask you was it all worth it? Was that 2008 to 2012 getting back into it? Because you clearly told us last year, I'm done with the Bigfoot scene.
Obi-Wan Cannoli.
What?
There's an Obi-Wan Cannoli in the chat.
Oh my goodness. Sorry.
Was it worth it? Absolutely, because I met a lot of great people and I helped a lot of people. And so absolutely. It was definitely worth it. Was the hoaxes worth it? Look, I am not going to apologize for making people laugh. I'm not going to apologize for making a little money here and there.
But how about those people that had hope and vindication? How about those people that when it came out it was a hoax? They were believing you because they wanted to believe, because they had their own sightings. How about those people?
Why they believe me is because it was real. And
here we go again.
And the way I was talking, the way I was feeling, like when you see a Bigfoot, you can't take that away from anybody. You just can't take that feeling away from anybody. And I just don't know what to say, Steve. Like, if you ever seen a Bigfoot,
you're not acting like a person who's seen a Bigfoot.
Okay, well, how does a person supposed to act? See, Steve, look.
A person who's seen a Bigfoot doesn't go out and hoax.
Oh, come on, Steve.
A person who sees a Bigfoot is looking for vindication.
Yeah, you can't say that. Look,
yeah, I certainly can.
I don't need no gratification like everybody else.
You're not looking for gratification.
Here you go. It's all a Bigfoot. I don't need that.
No, that's not that. You see, that's your two-dimensional view of looking at people who claim to have seen Bigfoot.
I have been asked to come on and tell my story. If you believe me, that's great. And if you don't believe me, that's great too. We can all leave here. Hey, I'll see you later. Shake hands. Look, this is not going to shape my life. This is not super important right now. Like right now, what's super important to me is my health, is my business. Bigfoot is on the back burner. It's just not that important, Steve. And I know that it's important to you, and I know that you have good values. I know that. I know that you have good values, and I know that you are just there for the truth. I know that, Steve. But I'm not in it because I've already seen it. I've already felt it. I already touched it. It's the only reason I'm still dabbling in Bigfoot now is these production companies are paying me really good. And I can use that money to bring home another real one so that everybody can see, so I can prove to everybody that Bigfoot exists. And who better to prove it is a person that everybody hates. So,
Tom Biscardi.
Look.
Kudos and salutations.
Look, Tom Biscardi. He is something else. He is something else, and I. After everything that has come out, after talking to everybody, after being cordial and talking to you and our conversation last year, I just I just know the truth now about the 2008 hoax completely, because what people don't understand about that hoax was everybody was keeping us apart. And at that time, I thought we were against each other. And now I know who was involved and who wasn't. The only sketchy part that I am still like with a question mark is about Tom Biscardi's son.
He did not know. And I'll say that with 100% conviction. And I'll tell you why. There's a mention in my book that I wrote about this whole thing where when this all broke, I actually found TJ sobbing on the side of the house down by the little creek that runs behind the house because of the bullshit his son, who's Tom Biscardi's grandson, had to go in school because they were making a big deal in school. Oh, look, there's Tom's grandson.
But Steve, but why?
But then it was TJ. Hold on, let me finish. It was TJ who got me up early and said, come on, let's go. Let's see if this fucker is real. And it was TJ who pulled the first hair out and said, and shoved it right to me and went, is it real? So they did not know. They were in the dark.
Why did Tom send it with those guys?
Because why was it frozen in ice? Answer that question. He told you to keep it frozen, did he not?
Yes.
Okay. But the team was instructed that it would be thawed upon arrival.
But at the end game, like Tom knew, eventually it will get unthawed.
Right. The end game was that everybody would sign NDAs and not talk about it. So they wouldn't have to lie about it. They would just be silent about it.
Well, that's what he said. But
that's what I heard. I heard this from Biscardi's mouth.
But that's what he said on certain people. But everybody that came, like I don't know.
You can take my word for that one. That I could tell that why would this guy be crying on the side of the road because this thing's fake? And that was before I said no to that NDA. That was before that was even brought up.
Okay, so he did try to make you sign an NDA.
Oh yeah, he got on a conference call with everybody that was there, with the exception of Bill Lett, J.C. Johnson, and Leonard Dan, who they had gone into town to get provisions for the night. And what ended up happening was Tom gets on this conference call, and there was myself there, TJ, Java Bob Smallsback, and Brian Mazzola, who was the cameraman.
It was 14 years ago.
Yep, and I remember it like yesterday. Why is that?
I agree that your name did get drugged through the mud.
Certainly did.
It got drugged through the mud unjustly, and after putting all parts together, anybody could see that. And I'm not kissing up to Steve. I'm just telling the facts, and that had to be tough, because it wasn't tough for me, because at that point. At that time, I knew I was bullshitting. Like, I thought Tom had it all figured out. But
I mean, you don't even know the downside of what I had to go through because of my principles. You know, I told everybody that Monday night I would go on my podcast and say to people, you know, whether or not this was real or not. I had made that commitment. I had made that promise to my audience. And then and this was my own mistake, I had open phone lines and I let people ask questions. And somebody had asked me at that time if I thought Tom Biscardi was involved. And at that time, I didn't have the DNA letter. I didn't have the freezer receipt. I didn't have any of that. And I said, at this point, I don't think so. But, you know, and mind you, I was in that campsite. I had TJ behind me. They were monitoring every single word I was saying. So I said, I don't think so, but I didn't have the evidence. In an investigation, you don't say who your suspect is or somebody's a suspect unless you have evidence. So what I did was, over the next few months, and I will be grateful to you too, Rick, for getting me that freezer receipt. That was probably the biggest piece of evidence to condemn Biscardi being involved in this. And then wow, there's a cat moving across the screen there. Little feline problem. But you know,
sorry.
The after effect of that was, you know, I got dropped from like 4 different organizations. I had gotten shunned for a while, and I just disappeared for a little bit. It really hurt. It was a very bad time for me. Out of everybody involved in this, I took it on the chin. But then I bounced back, and I say, hey, you know, and thanks to that freezer sheet, that was the help. I FOIL requested the police report. That helped. And then I came out swinging. And over about a year later, people were like, wow, Steve, you know what? I apologize. You really stuck to your guns. You came out with some evidence. And the whole thing is I don't ever name a hoaxer on just thoughts. I have to have some sort of evidence, and the investigation always goes to my timeline, not to what's popular. So that's all I can say about that.
Well, I know that you went out there on your own dime, and I know that you were in hostile territory for a while until you can get back.
Absolutely.
But as far as me goes, folks, like, don't believe anything that I say when it comes to a new Bigfoot body. Just wait for the proof. I beg you just to wait for the proof, and you will see. I'm working on a lot of things now. Just wait for the proof.
That was a lot. That's a lot. Now, what I have up here right now is somebody was making a comment about Muskie Allen. This is one of the things Muskie Allen put out to ammoland.com, verifying that first body, and or the second body. It was the second body, right?
Yes, Muskie Allen.
Yeah,
the second body.
2013. Where he just, says a few things that needs to be said in support of Rick Dyer and all the years.
No. Muskie Allen was involved in the first body.
Muskie Allen was involved in the 2012 hoax, not the 2008 hoax.
Yeah, because this came out in 2013.
That's right. He flew to Las Vegas. That's right. Like all that was a hoax. That was a total hoax. Muskie Allen never saw anything.
How did he get involved in the first place?
He hated someone with a passion. I don't know who it was, but he hated someone.
He hated me.
Yeah, he hated someone, so he wanted to mess with Steve. And let's make it clear that there was never a body in 2012. There was never a body. I shot at one, and it's on film, and I believe I hit it, but it was never a body. So everything after I shot at one, me and Morgan Matthews fought, and we went back to the SUV until daylight, and then we got out, and then we looked for the body. But you
wouldn't happen to be filming with Minnow Films again, would you?
No, I'm not filming with Minnow Films, and if I was, I could not discuss it.
Just throw it out there like any good journalist would.
But
there is a photo, though, real quick. I want to clear up that I found had your name on it. Remember, where's your Snapple? What? Oh,
kudos and salutations.
That you had said, you had put out for the 2008. You and Matt had put out a couple of photos and stuff that never took off. They never took off for that initial thing, and I wanted to know if this photo, where is it? Where is it? This one is.
That wasn't the 2008.
What is this?
That was something that me and a guy named Bill from where was he from? From Baltimore. What's Baltimore? Baltimore's in Delaware.
Baltimore's in Maryland.
No, Maryland. Oh, okay. He was from Maryland, near Bel Air, Maryland, and we we got together and we built this from foam, and we took a drone shot, and that never took off, period. And we also we actually made the body from foam and put a costume thing on top of that and a wig, and
look like.
And we wrapped it up and threw it on top of my Mercedes SUV, and we drove around Maryland and New Jersey with that on top of the car. And that's all that happened there. And also, I think we hung it up by a tree too, because I saw a Bigfoot post from a while back that someone hung a Bigfoot up by a tree. So we wanted to recreate that.
Good Lord, that looks like Gimli hadn't shaved in about 6 years.
Dude, that was actually heavy. It's foam, but it was heavy.
So that's what I was wondering, because I kept finding it attached to your name, but I never heard of. I seen this one, so
no, that started off as a fake, and it was a fake through and through.
Mm-hmm. So there's another hoax. What year was that one? So we can label it.
Early 2009 or late 2008.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one is fake, right?
Oh, 100%.
All right, let's give it the. All right, there we
go. Okay, so
oh, hang on.
What?
Go back one. Okay, we just needed to do that.
Oh,
that was a cow's jaw turned upside down, and a cow's tongue hanging out the costume.
Sure, that wasn't Frank's false teeth.
Oh, Frank! I you know what? I think Frank passed on, man.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yep. Frank passed on, and that's yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of Bigfoot hunters have passed on since all this stuff have.
J.C. Johnson.
Yes. Oh my God. And trying to think of who has Dwayne. God, who else has passed on?
Oh God, the number is so great.
Yeah, good God.
Let me see what we've got. A lot of questions.
That RV passed on too, didn't it?
Which one? This one here?
Or is that the one you sold, or is that the one that passed on? Because you had an RV that passed on in Florida interstate.
Dude, we were riding down I-4, and I smelled something behind the radio, right? And dude, that thing went up so fast, like you saw the smoke, and then you saw the fire, and then I barely had a time to stop that damn thing and run out the damn door. And then my wife says, the camera, because that camera was expensive and we just bought it. So I had to run back in the damn thing and get the damn camera. It was a mess on I-4, and our shit was burning up, and people were blowing, why couldn't you burn the thing off the interstate?
I remember seeing the news clip from it, and it looked like a conflagration.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You know, during watching some of your TikToks and stuff, can you tell me a little bit about that eBay fraud?
What eBay fraud?
This eBay fraud.
There was never no eBay fraud. I know. Hold on a second. I was out of the country, and someone stole my eBay account And when I got back in the country, they, because they couldn't contact me, that they had a warrant out for my arrest. And then I was arrested. And after I talked to the detectives, I was immediately let go. But you're not telling the whole story.
No, that's why I want you to tell the whole story. Yeah. You tell it better than I do.
Well, you already knew the whole story.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So
I did.
Yeah. So
I did.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is just another thing to throw up to make me look as bad as possible. But
it was a nothing burger, right? It was just.
But no, well, it was a nothing. But the news station apologized for that 5 days later. So, but you're not telling that. So
you're here. You're telling it. I haven't told anybody about that.
I was the victim there. Rick Dyer was the victim there. Someone stole my eBay account. I was out of the country. When I came back in the country, I was arrested at the airport.
Right.
And that was embarrassing as hell. But I got out the same night, and a couple of days later, after talking with the detective, that was it. Because they knew it wasn't me.
Right.
Period. And that was it's 13 years ago.
I thought it was like 2010.
Yeah, like 13 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a while ago.
So yeah. So yeah, I was the victim there. But I'm not always the victim. I will say that. And I always don't make the right decisions, but I have a clean criminal record. No convictions or misdemeanors, nowhere. And only one traffic ticket in Nevada. So don't try to paint me out like this criminal or someone that is doing wrong. That's bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's probably, okay. So, well, it's just all stuff that you've put out yourself. That I came straight out of your talk. So,
and I have put that out myself, and I have explained it and put it to rest. And you know that they dropped everything, but you still like pop it up and say, "Oh well, he did this," or explain this. You already know it, and everybody else.
Well, now everybody else knows it too. So, but that's the whole show, to see what you've been doing and what's going on. And that's something that I didn't know about on the first show. So that's why, you said anything was fair game.
Well, anything is fair game. Okay?
Yeah, because it was a big nothing burger. So people should know that, because that's how things come up, and how, when you do your research, you find the answers.
Okay, but why didn't you do your own research and contact the news place that issued the apology online?
Well, you
didn't do that.
Already said that you had an apology online.
And the reason you didn't do that is because you wanted me to look as bad as possible.
No, I wanted you to tell a story, because you tell a good story, Rick. That's all. Listen, there's a lot. There's a lot that we could talk about. Just alone from your TikToks alone, about the working with Cuba Gooding Jr. Was there something with Cuba Gooding Jr. before? Did you do a movie with him or something? I don't.
Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Yeah,
no.
You mentioned something about that before.
I did a movie with Tom Green and Les Stroud.
You've had escapades with the Mexican cartel. You've gone to the Thailand.
Yeah,
those were really long ones. Those were really big, long ones. You've also gone on the whole with the lies of the community. Bigfoot, Patterson Gimlin film footage, and the whole Bob Hieronymus thing. And so
I think Bob Hieronymus is telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bob Hieronymus is telling the truth, and I think there is a show, or was a show, that he took a lie detector on, and that show would have been much better if the lie detector proved that he was lying.
Yeah, that's, and believe it or not, Rick, you believe.
You're hot.
Oh, sorry, I'll lean back. That's
you don't have to. Your mic is too good now. You
yeah, I know. It's like, so Rick, let me ask you a question. You do believe that Justin Smeha is a hoaxer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So why did he pass a lie detector test? And did you know that the person that gave?
I will tell you why he passed a lie detector test. Because it was Ro Shahibi's friend who gave him the lie detector test.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. The person who gave him the lie detector test trained under the guy that gave Bob Hieronymus the lie detector test. It's called Lie Detector in a Box. That was the name of the program. That was the training program. So the person...
It was a former FBI agent.
No.
Like, that's what the show said.
No, it was... he may have been a former FBI agent. That doesn't necessarily mean he's a polygrapher. That is a very special... That was something he came into after he left the FBI.
Why don't Bob take a third-party lie detector test? Why? Because it don't matter now.
Right. It doesn't matter.
Bob Gimlin, because it don't matter now. Because all this stuff doesn't matter. If it was a hoax, so what? I think it was a hoax. I'm 99% sure it was a hoax.
How much do you know about polygraph machines?
Steve,
I'm just asking a question because
I know they're not admissible in court.
Right. So here's the kicker. Even if, let's just say, the Patterson Gimlin film was a hoax, if Bob Gimlin took a lie detector test today, he would pass because he's told the story for so many years, for so long.
You think so?
Absolutely.
So what you're saying is that lie detectors are junk.
Not necessarily. They have, depending on the polygrapher. Now, I happened to meet up with, for the Nat Geo special I did, meet a really world-class polygrapher who actually went to a polygrapher examiner academy. And a lot of that, it has to do with interviewing skills, the pre-interview, before you interview that person. And you build up the machine, and it kind of adds to a little anxiety into them that, this machine's going to tell the truth regardless. So you have to
let's like I don't agree with you there about Bob Hieronymus and his lie detector thing, but let's put that out of the picture. After the high-tech camera in 1967, after everything that has happened, you believe that that's real?
I am leaning towards, there are some things I find based on the story. There's things I face and
would you put your nuts on a chopping block? Is it real or not?
I'm leaning towards it is.
But not leaning towards. So you'll chop off your nuts saying that thing is real. Steve?
Oh, hang on. I'm looking at a comment in chat here. Yeah, it's nice to change your name once you get booted out of chat there, troll.
Did I miss something?
Yeah.
But regardless,
Bigfoot truth. Which the hard question would you like me to ask? If you're such the truth, I think you're full of beans. But anyway, I lean towards the film is real, not necessarily based upon the story behind it, because the story is so old, but based upon the analysis done by Dr. Jeff Meldrum and the story.
Hey,
that's why I lean towards it's real. I wasn't there. I can't say for sure.
So you would not bet your nuts?
You know, the only thing I ever bet my nuts on is what I can see with my own eyes. Simple as that.
Okay. I think. But I will say, I don't care if it's real or fake. I do respect Bob, and
what is this? You know, this guy is being really a troll here.
Well, I mean, we'll kick him out. Well, look, I do respect Bob, and without Bob, we would not be here right now. None of us would be here right now without Bob Gimlin, and that's why his picture is hanging up in my house until this day. I don't think that no one should attack Bob. I don't think that no one should do any harm. That's just my opinion. And I believe that there's enough facts to back that up, that it is fake. But nevertheless, I sent you a video on, or who was a video or a, wasn't a video, it was a picture, and asked you what was your thoughts on that, and you never got back to me.
Oh, the Peter Kane?
Yes.
I told you Peter Kane is a satirist, and then you came back with a smiley face.
Yeah, he's a dog trainer by trade, but he in his a lot of his early work, he said on there that he's a comedian, he's a satire artist. It's all just to make fun of the Bigfoot community, all that stuff.
By the way, Peter Kane is not serious. It's satire.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
But he's good for a laugh.
I mean, when people say that, I'm good for a laugh.
You're great for a laugh. Yeah. I mean, during COVID, right before COVID, you were working on some kind of web series too, weren't you?
Yeah,
or what?
But that was destroyed. Like, that's involved in that lawsuit too, because the people that were involved with that was involved in the lawsuit too.
Oh,
on my side, but it just ended up craziness, pure craziness.
The name of that, all I got was Project Ozark. Is that correct? Or
I done forgot what it was. It was Project something.
Yeah, I think it was Project Ozark. Something
but
about
that was just a web series to, like, not real, just to get people involved with Bigfoot. And I believe that that's what all the shows are doing too. It's not real.
Right,
it's
like
just,
Mount Monsters and all
right.
That's
right.
There.
It's just, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that that's okay.
No, there's a lot of people who watch those religiously and love them. But we have like 15 minutes left. So I wanted to get to a few questions. And I know, Steve, you've got to get out of here to your show.
Oh, yep, I got to get out to my own podcast here in a minute.
Yeah. So this will probably be a good time for you to mosey on, and we'll finish up with some viewer questions that I have. And that'll be it. that'll be it.
Okay, folks. Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks.
Rick, stay
so
healthy.
much.
Thanks, brothers. Thanks. I really
Catch up.
appreciate the texts and everything when I was in the hospital, brother. Thank you.
No problem, brother. Just say, keep yourself healthy, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Great. Steve, that's Steve Kulls from Squatch DTV, and you guys can find him at 15 minutes. He'll be live on his channel, so we'll all be heading there in a little while. But so Rick, some of the questions that I got from some of the viewers, I wanted to go through those real quick, and some we've already answered. You've answered these before, so we'll go through them pretty fast. But one of them is, if you could go back, what would you have done differently in the 2008 or 2012? Your choice.
I would have called the media immediately in 2008 and brought them out to Fall Creek Falls, Tennessee. And I actually would have took photos and video, and
you said your phone didn't have a camera, or you hadn't used it before.
Look, like, I didn't get used to a camera phone until 2010. That's when I didn't know that I could check my email until 2010 on a damn phone. And that's a fact. But I would have did that and called the media immediately. And I don't know if that would have made a difference, which I think it would. But there's a lot of stuff that goes through your mind when a life-changing event happens. As far as the 2012 hoax, I was just pissed off and disappointed at myself that I couldn't get them that time. I shot at them, and it's all on film. And it was documented by a film company that just does documentary filmmaking, award-winning filmmaker Morgan Matthews. And in a documentary, there's no hoaxing and there's no fakery. Like it tells it like it is. But what I would have done different, I don't think that I would have not done anything different, but choose better people when I was doing the hoax, because the hoax made a lot more money than the first one. And the picture you're showing now is the left side is shooting Bigfoot with the Discovery Channel and the BBC, and the right side is with Tom Green and Les Stroud and Stacey Brown and stuff. And that movie, I played myself, a hoaxer, which I don't mind. I mean, I am a hoaxer, but I have seen the real thing. And my goal is to drag another one out of the woods, because I know if I release another video or another picture, that's not going to do nothing at all. That's just going to put me back down the hole of a hoaxer.
And what are your feelings on, like, Stacey Brown Jr. since Stacey?
Hey, look at this
stuff.
I like Stacey Brown. I think that he's cool to hang out with. He is a good guy, and we all have personas outside the Bigfoot world. I think Stacey is a fantastic guy. Every time that we meet, it's nothing but good things and laughter and stuff. like when we was on set filming with Tom Green and Les Stroud, like it was a great environment. Like me and Stacy, like fooled around and ad lib, but we ad libbed. Only me and him would understand. Like when we was at the shooting scene, I can remember that we were cussing each other out for the movie, right? And we were shooting at each other.
Yeah.
And I pointed the gun and said, "What did you do with your alligator arm?" The producer didn't know nothing about that, but Stacy did, and we all had a good laugh. So as Stacy and like I have zero bad to say about Stacy Brown. I have zero bad to say like the guy from that new, or that it's not a new show, but it's God, I cannot remember his name to save my life.
Les Stroud, or
no, the guy that's in the new show in the Pacific Northwest.
Accord.
Russell Accord.
Yeah.
That man stayed at my house in Daytona Beach. Him and his beautiful wife, and I say that I've met a lot of people in the Bigfoot community, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that Russell Accord, he believes in this beast cold-heartedly. Like he is, if I could say anybody is the absolute real deal, it would be Russell Accord. And I haven't talked to him in about 2 months, but I say that he has never gave me any inclination that he would hoax or a hoaxer, and he always talks about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But when I was saying earlier about Ken Gerhardt and stuff, we were at a conference in Oklahoma, and at that time I was known for the 2008 Bigfoot hoax, and I set up a booth, and as soon as I got there, I pulled up in a big motor home with my face on the side, and
my goodness,
and everybody kept talking to me, and I seen them make a footprint just for the news crew, and it was Ken Gerhardt. It was a writer that's bald-headed and white, Redmond, and it was a guy from a Texas Bigfoot group. They were all making a fake Bigfoot print, and they drug the news crew over to show it to them. Like, and the reason I keep bringing that up is because that when I saw that, and these are respected authors and people in the Bigfoot community, when I saw that with my own eyes, I'm like, is anything in the Bigfoot community legit? like that was disheartening, because I'm the hoaxer, not these reputable people.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, people have a lot of questions on your opinion on the Bigfoot hoaxers, whether you believe the Freeman footage. Do you believe the Freeman footage is where Paul Freeman going walking up a hill, and then he sees a Bigfoot walking by a tree, and he goes, "Oh, there she goes." You've not seen that one before?
I haven't seen it. Look, I concentrate on my own stuff. There is so many people that ask me, "Have you seen this?" or "Have you seen that?" And anything that's interesting that pops out, I send to Steve Kulls and said, hey, Steve, is this real? But,
Okay.
but the only thing that I have seen that blows my mind recently is the trees. Like it was a drone footage of a Bigfoot or something that was dragging trees around. Whoever made that?
Oh, so that was a feller buncher that was discovered to be a big old feller buncher that was moving trees.
Oh my goodness! But that was impressive if you look at it and like, wow, that like what the hell is that?
Yeah, in the beginning, but later on, after everybody started doing analysis, you could kind of see the edge of the feller buncher as it was moving. And the color, and people actually were able to match it to an exact model and everything. Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I concentrate on what I'm doing and not what other people's doing. But I do think that in every group, in every Sasquatch group or organization, there should be a hoaxer there. You're laughing.
Well, there's a lot. Otherwise, I wouldn't have be doing this. Okay.
But there should be an admitted hoaxer there, so he can dissect the bullshit, because there's so many people in the Bigfoot community is brainwashed. I mean, they're like Jehovah's Witnesses, and they're brainwashed, and they only believe what people tell them to believe. It is absolutely crazy, and that's why people are so gullible when it comes to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And I am so sorry, folks. I am not with it today. I got out of the hospital. I'm dizzy as hell now. I had 2 ulcers and some other things that I had to go in for surgery on, and I just got out today.
I definitely appreciate you being here and taking the time. We, could have pushed this back a week, but Rick didn't want to. He said, "No, we're going to do this." And
because I told you that I would, and my wife even said, "Why are you doing this? Just go home and rest." I said, "No, drop me off at my car lot, and I do it there, and then I grab a vehicle and I go home and go to sleep." That's the exact word. Look, folks, I am not a bad guy, and I just want to get along with everybody, and I don't want no hostility. And if you believe me, then that's great. We can shake hands. If you don't believe me, that's great too. We can also shake hands and laugh about it. Someone asked me about Richter Riolo. Richter was my friend. Richter is nothing like what he is online. He's totally different in person. But things didn't work out for him. He has always been a good guy to me. So I have nothing bad to say about anyone in the Bigfoot community. Even Tom Biscardi. It's like Tom Biscardi is a guy, and he tried to throw me under the bus, but everything worked out. I have no hostility over anything. The biggest person that hated me, and I hated him with a passion, named what's his name? Randy Filipovic.
Oh, Racer X.
We are friends now. Racer X. We came at each other so hard. We hit below the belt in 2012 and 13. We came at each other so hard, but we're friends now, and we talk regularly.
Oh, well,
And
that's good.
it is a. There's no reason to fight and be upset about Bigfoot. There's no reason. If you think that I did something wrong with Bigfoot, then go out and get your own evidence and do your own things and promote Bigfoot the way you want to promote Bigfoot.
Right.
But I think that we should all come together and stop the fights and stop the bullshit. It's just that.
So somebody asked the question of, did you ever want to be a legitimate researcher? But you've always thought that you were an up and up legitimate after the 2008 anyway, because before that we know.
Like I know people hates to hear this, but I am the greatest Bigfoot tracker of all time. And I truly believe that in my head. And the reason I truly believe that is I came across two. And unfortunately, I made bad decisions when it comes to credibility after the events that happened. I made really bad decisions when it came to credibility. But if you look at it, there's no credibility in the Bigfoot community, really, without a Bigfoot body.
Right.
So,
right. Do you think we're going to keep going the same direction?
I think that I think if people don't pull their heads out of their ass, we will keep going in a big circle. And there's two types of people. Well, actually, there's three types of people that is in the Bigfoot community. I mean, the first type is in it for fame. The second type, they're in it just for money. Right. Like I believe that Dr. Jeff Meldrum is just in it for money. He's a nice guy. He was on the same show that I was on a couple of weeks ago. He is a nice guy. He's very respectful, but everything he does when it comes to Bigfoot in the community, he charges for, and he don't charge a little. Every conference, every show, everything he charges for.
Right.
And I believe if you are in it just solely for Bigfoot, you wouldn't do that. You want to find the answers, but ask them to come to your convention and talk about Bigfoot. Explain to people that don't know about Bigfoot. You're going to add about 3 zeros to whatever you're paying them.
Right.
And the third person is me. I love fame. I love money. I got paid very good for what I just did. I got paid very good for the movie with Tom Green and Les Stroud, and I got paid very good for the other stuff that I'm doing and already did. So right. If you can do it. Do it. I don't see nothing wrong with anything that anyone is doing in the Bigfoot community. I think it brings us all together. And that's why I think that the Patterson and Gimlin was a hoax. But so what? I'm glad it happened, because if it didn't happen, then me and you, Nikki, wouldn't be talking.
Right.
And you're a good person. I just want to like I'm too old now. I'm 45 years old and just had a near-death experience. I don't want no problems with nobody.
Right.
I'm barely
I believe
standing
that.
right now. I'm barely standing, just got out of the hospital. But I don't want no problems with nobody. I don't want to have these ulcers explode. I just want everybody to get along. And if everybody gets along and everybody's friends, everybody can come together and really find a Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope that all these people with boots on the ground are going to come up with something, and that it comes to light. Because no, we're not going to go anywhere without some type specimen or something, something for science. I had a lot of other questions from people, and you guys, I'll address these questions with you on a later podcast because they were all answered throughout this whole 2 hours. But we're going to go ahead and bring this to a close now. I know you guys had questions about him wanting to talk about Todd Standing and Christopher Noel and stuff like that.
Todd Standing is a great guy. Christopher is a great guy. Now there is another person that absolutely believes like no other is Christopher Noel. He believes in Bigfoot. There is not a single bit of hoaxer in him. I guarantee you that.
Can I show you something before we get off?
Yeah.
And that might change your mind a little bit. Let me bring this
My
up
dealings with Christopher Noel. My dealing. But Christopher Noel is gullible too. But he really believes in Bigfoot.
Let's see. I don't even know which one to bring up first. We'll do this one. I'll do this one. Okay. Oops, wrong place. Okay, here we go. So let me know when you can see that. Recently, Christopher Noel he put out a documentary called How to See a Sasquatch. And he released some footage that to the majority of the people out there know what he was seeing was a porcupine. And there are porcupine jokes all over the Bigfoot community. But let's see if it'll play. Play, please. Play. Why won't you play now? You were just playing a little while ago. Oh, come on. Oh, it's totally frozen. Hold on. Ooh, come on there, buddy. There it goes. I'm not going to have the sound on just because I don't want to get, but there it is. Can you see that? Go on.
So did he take that footage?
Yes, he took this footage. He's claiming it's a juvenile Bigfoot going up a tree. Here's him telling us what we're seeing, but I'll play that again.
Oh, I mean, well, I wasn't there. and like I wasn't there, so I can't say it's not. Like for a person, they have to have some proof it's not what he says. Like they have to go there.
Oops, what did I do? Oh,
they have to have boots on the ground, and a lot of people in the Bigfoot community will do this and never go there. They can, like, it's, if he wants to do that stuff, let him do it. So what? It doesn't take anything from me. It doesn't take anything from you. It just brings people into the Bigfoot community. And I hate to say it, but 99.9% of people in the free world think we're a joke anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like, If it's real, it's real. If it's not, it's not. Who cares? We're only going to pay true attention when you bring a body out. The only thing I don't like about the Bigfoot community, like it has a hierarchy. Like if a certain person didn't bring it to you, then it's not real. Then it's automatically not real. No investigations, no nothing. Automatically not real. If you're not liked by a certain person, if you don't kiss a certain person's ass, you're out. You're blackballed, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. Everybody should be welcome, and take everything that you see with a grain of salt, unless a Bigfoot is drug out of the woods in your face.
But that is true. That is true, people, because it's all speculation at this point, and I know there's a lot of people who have seen Bigfoot and have had that come into their lives, and you know, they have that understanding. But for the rest of us, it's just kind of, we're on the same street we've always been on. But anyway, Steve, I want to thank Steve Kulls for when he came on earlier. You guys, he's probably on live now. And Rick, if you can hang out in the back while we roll the credits. And I want to tell everybody, thank you so much for coming and watching the show. And please, if you like my content, hit that like button right now for me. Subscribe, share this out to your groups. I would really, really appreciate it. And thank you again, Rick, for coming on the show 1 year later.
That's no problem. Thank you for having me.
Peace, everybody.